Sorry to keep you waiting. Am I all right? This is okay?
Thank you. Thanks. Much appreciated. What does the word rivalry mean to you?
The heartbeat of sport. Without rivalry, there is no sport. There is no deep inner passion. I must want to beat Australia. Australia must want to beat India.
Not many countries can share such a passion and be so culturally different.
That's where they're very similar. Australia love their sport. And Indians love their cricket.
Sport in Australia is big, but I haven't seen anyone just outwardly express their love of a sport like Indians do to cricket. They are just, it's like they can't contain it.
Can you walk down the street in India now? Are you recognised?
Yeah. It's rock star. It's as close to Beatlemania as you can see from all cricketers, not just me. So
have you done some ads?
I've done lots of very dodgy ads in India. Some of the finest work over there.
Lads, Adam Gilchrist in the hat! Gilly! Hey, Gilly, Gilly! Hey, Gilly! Hey, Gilly, Gilly! Hey, let's go, let's go!
Very good, Mr. Gilly. But first we must be waiting for the engine to work out.
People say, what's India really like? So just watch that ad.
There is only one sport in India. There is only one sport in India.
Cricket has been a very strong force in the relationship between the two countries.
India, Australia, the juice is going, man.
The love of cricket seems to be an inherent quality in every Australian, and the youngster is not long out of the cradle before his hands itch to hold a bat. From that stage to the Back Lane Cricket Association is but a short step.
This is the greatest place on earth. This is where you want to be.
Well, where do you start? Where do you stop? The best thing about Australia as a country, the freedom, the openness, and our capacity to celebrate life.
Australians make friends easily. So I think it's the warmth of the people that strikes you first.
We're pretty easy going. We like a bit of fun. Don't mind a bit of banter every now and then.
There's so much we have on offer that's, even untouched in this country. So we're very lucky.
It's hot out there today, Mr. Walker.
Sure is.
Don't the crowds annoy you, Mr. Walker?
No.
Anything at all bother you?
Yes, batsmen and flies.
Australian flies was very sticky. We played in India, there is flies, you do that and it's fly. But Australian flies never fly.
I don't understand where they come from, to be very honest. Can somebody explain that to me? We keep spraying those things around our hat and our helmets. Why do we need to do that?
Great beaches, great restaurants, great cities. It's a great country in totality.
The space, few people, get out, walk, the food. And of course, the bars. And the women, they're full of spice.
If you do well there, people really appreciate that. If you don't do well, obviously it can be nasty as well. So you take it with a pinch of salt when you're not doing well, but you get the same appreciation when you do well as well.
You know, you guys, after a few, you know.
Get a bit lippy.
Yeah, you get lippy. They're not short. That even before a drink, they can be lippy. Can you imagine after 3, 4, 5?
I just love the egalitarianism in Australian society. I saw Alan Border waiting in a taxi queue once, and I thought, wow, man, this is some country.
Very different, very different. If you say formal over here, it's very different. I still remember a function, and you know how the Australians rocked up? In their board shorts and what they call thongs, which are basically those flip-flops, and t-shirts. And we're here, suit, tie, everything, and the Australians have rocked up with their cap and everything. And like,
there was a game in Canberra, and the Prime Minister comes down. Bob Hawke was the Prime Minister then. Bob Hawke said, Alan, whatever, and Alan says, "G'day, Bob." And I was like that. I said, he's the Prime Minister of the country, you know. He said, "G'day, Bob." And I remember saying to him, "G'day, Bob." And that has stayed with me all these years. And I said, wow, this must be a cool country, you know.
In early October, India and Australia met for the first time for 10 years in a test in India, a one-off affair at the Ferozshah Kotla ground in Delhi. And at stake for the first time was the Border Gavaskar Trophy, which will be competed for in every future series between the two countries.
The Border Gavaskar Trophy has only been in existence since 1996. And mercifully, the first trophy that was offered is no longer. It was a shocker. It was filed quietly under miscellaneous until we got the new trophy, which is quite an elegant piece, thankfully.
The cricket board came to me and asked whether I would lend my name to a perpetual trophy. It was a big thrill, actually, because, you know, I just rate, you know, the Ashes is the ultimate for the Australian cricketer, but Australia-India is not far behind it as far as stature and the way the games are played and viewed by the respective players.
All I can say is that, you know, I'm deeply honoured.
How did you not get it first, Gavaskar Border Trophy?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Actually, technically, one, I'm slightly older than him. Two, I'm an opening batsman, so maybe I should have come number one.
Alphabetically, obviously. And I'm taller than him by miles.
Alan Border. He might have not been the most flamboyant, but when it came to balls, grit, toughness, ability to sweat it out, bite the bullet, he was the man.
grumpy, scraggly beard and always seeming upset with the world.
There is a word called gaslit, which is pretty much, you know, kerosene. Kerosene is such an essential part of cooking, etc. He used to be called gaslit, such an essential part of Australian cricket team.
Alan Border was a colossal figure growing up, and Gavaskar the same for India.
Sunil was the best opening batsman I ever seen. Oh, amazing player. Amazing.
Proper is one word is good enough for him. Proper.
Gavaskar for India and Border for Australia. And it's very aptly named.
Just two giants of the game.
When you hear the words Border Gavaskar series, what stirs inside for you?
Stirs more in recent times than it did in the past. In the past, they tended to be a little one-sided. Australia didn't come to India very often. And when India went to Australia, they tended to lose.
Australia had a very poor attitude to matches with India for a very long time. We're very Anglo-centric in our view.
Australian teams didn't like to come to India. Alan Border said, listen guys, we've got to embrace the culture of that country, we've got to go.
The Australians were oblivious to India. You know, didn't care, didn't rate. That's why they didn't come. Once they realized India is a market, not just the market, it has quality, bloody well will come.
I think we should be proud about our country. The history of India is amazing. You can go as far as back to 5,000 years to come to know India. In between, it dipped. British people ruled us for almost 300 years.
Greatest headlines of the century. India's battle for independence from the British Empire had been a pressing problem since the early years of the 20th century. Mohandas K. Gandhi, spiritual leader of millions of Hindus, had waged a passive war for several decades before the negotiations were to take a favorable trend. Then on March 14, 1946, England offered complete independence. The years of unrest could now be brought to a close.
Certainly the difference has been that they were compliant. There was a sense of them being subservient. Now, whether it was a consequence of imperialism or not, they didn't have the strength that was required to be competitive. They had the ability, they had the guile, but not necessarily the strength.
Even after more than 27 years in Test cricket, India still had not beaten a full-strength side from any of the then major cricketing nations. Indeed, when Richie Benaud's Australians arrived in India in 1959, India immediately lost the first test by an innings at Delhi.
There was a culture in India where there wasn't that much belief that they could win.
I think they were still a bit subservient to the old British Empire days.
It was almost like being bullied by the big brother. These Australian cricketers, and they had the Borders and the Lillies and the Thompsons and those sort of guys. Why are we getting bullied by these guys?
They'd grown up looking at Australian teams as the pinnacle of the sport, hopefully not in too unkind a way. We used that to our advantage.
There was the perception they weren't the hardest team to play against, didn't like getting roughed up verbally.
Indian by nature, we are very, very soft people. And in sports, you need very aggressive people.
Today's generation is unbelievably assertive, and it's a fearless generation, which wasn't the case, say, with our generation.
These young boys are much more confident what we were in our time. When within yourself you start believing you can beat them, I think you can beat them.
India-Australia, massive. When I started playing cricket, all my dad said was, if you're worth your salt as a cricketer, go and perform in Australia. In India, people know more about Australian cricketers than any other nation in the world, barring Pakistan.
We've had wars with Pakistan. So India versus Pakistan is a different animal. It's not a cricket match. The undercurrents run much deeper. India versus Australia is a cricket match.
It's a very new rivalry. It's changed the face of the game. There's no doubt about that. It has now become one of the great competitions of the world.
Thank you again. It's a pleasure having you here.
No problem, yeah.
Are you okay to go?
Absolutely, yeah.
When you were playing, who did you enjoy beating the most?
Oh, of course, Australia. There's no question about it, because they played the game the hard way. I remember my first tour in 77, 78. The Australian grounds were very big, and that was too tough for us. We were not used to that kind of fitness.
That particular series, 77, 78, was a great series. It was also the time when Kerry Packer was raising his ugly head.
There was another series organized by Kerry Packer. They had all superstars playing in this Kerry Packer series.
I can distinctly remember 77, 78 during the World Series cricket days. Bob Simpson came back and captained Australia.
In Australia, they reckon you don't grow old. You only just lose your hair, But Bobby Simpson was a tough nut to crack, always.
Is this a good Australian side compared with previous sides you've played in?
I think it's got the making of a very good team. It's a young side. They're new to Test cricket, but the talent's there to go on and do a lot better.
What do you think of this Australian side? They are becoming a very good unit. I've always known Australians coming out with some firebrand youngsters, and I don't see any reason why they shouldn't do it now.
That particular series, 77, 78, we lost first two test matches, then we won the next two. In the last test in Adelaide, we lost.
4 runs. Oh. And he's out with his cap falling on his wicket.
India were fairly popular tourists because they were polite, they were well behaved, and they lost, which was a wonderful combination for a touring side.
The Melbourne Cricket Ground is one of the world's largest sporting stadiums. To the Ockers, it's tinnies and toweling hats.
How many would you end up drinking in one day?
One day, depends. Varies, depends on where you're going. If you're travelling well, like come Monday, I wasn't travelling like a winner, so I only drank a dozen, but if it hit form, it could be up to 17 or something like that, huh?
What about food? Do you ever worry about
Yeah,
food?
we bring pasties and chickens.
Yeah.
We've been bringing chickens.
Pasties
or chickens, so good.
What about the cricket though?
Fabulous.
Well played there by him, Namaste.
There's the hook and he's out. He finds a gap. That's 4 runs and well played, Fishy. A fine hand.
Up it goes. Mosh hits high into the outfield. It's found the gap. Good sharp catch that by Sunday. The boundary, and it's going to be 4. So Alan Border central.
The keep well, it's close. That time he's got him. Playing back. Robescar suggesting that he got a thick edge onto that delivery. And, wow, what a sensation of cutting in there. He's taking the open bat off with him. Have a rethink. Sunil.
He drags his partner off, and thankfully common sense prevailed. Their manager ran down, so the game resumed. Old Wobbles get in the next day, and Capital Dev comes in and gets Pfeiffer, and we lose the game.
If you look at the history of Indian Test cricket overseas, Melbourne 1981 is a big moment for us in our cricket because it told you you can go and win overseas.
The 80s that I can recall, you always felt there was just that little bit of a hangover of the World Series cricket. But 1986, when they came over here, it certainly made them believe that they were on their way to returning to being at their best.
The Australian cricketers are on their way to India for what's expected to be a difficult 7-week tour.
It's a hard tour in that it's a different culture. Sometimes you get a little bit crook with the food.
I remember Border being quite testy at the press conference going into the first test. Earlier that year in New Zealand, the Australians were in disarray. Border had threatened to quit as captain.
Now if I look back, he wasn't mature enough. Australia was going through a rough time. He was himself was a great cricketer. So I think he built the team, and from there onwards, they never looked back.
AB was not a natural cricketer. Kapil was a natural. Kapil, anything he touched was good.
I was full of beans. I was ready to rock. And I'm going to a test match watching some water buffalo cruise past and some women plying their trade or washing the family's clothes and a cow having a number 2. And boy, it's hot.
Madras was just stinking hot, humid. There was a drain that went round the ground in those days that was just putrid.
The Buckingham Canal, which fundamentally is an open sewer.
You're pretty keen for AB to win the toss, aren't you?
Australian captain Alan Border has won the toss and batted in the first test against India in Madras.
No hesitation. You don't even think about bowl.
The ground in Chennai was very different in 87 than it is now. It was a concrete crucible. The temperature at the base would be 3 or 4 degrees higher than at the top. So it was one of the most difficult grounds to play cricket on because it was so hot.
David Boone was Australia's first-day hero with a savage innings of 122. Newly promoted Dean Jones made the most of his chance and punished anything loose. David Boone's 100 was his third in Test cricket.
Mentally, it's just hard to stay, focused on each delivery because all you're thinking about is ice, water, Boone, to get 100 in those conditions on day one, just set it up for us.
Jones, playing in only his third Test, defied insufferable heat to reach his maiden Test century with his on-drive from Shastri's bowling. Jones even overshadowed his illustrious partner Alan Border in a stand of 178 for the fourth wicket as both men overcame India's bowlers in the testing conditions. Afflicted by stomach cramps and dehydration, Jones was frequently ill. Later, he praised the Indian players for their concern and encouragement.
I said, you've got to take a bit of lime juice because that'll help to settle your stomach. It'll help to take the humidity. That's what we were told when we were growing up.
He went through this dehydration process that we didn't really understand fully.
As somebody from Melbourne who's not used to 30 degrees, let alone 40 degrees and 90% humidity, trying to run between wickets and concentrate and everything else, unbelievable.
At the end of one over, he sort of staggered down to me and he just looks totally gone. He said, "Oh, mate, I've got to go off. I'm just gone." And I'm not thinking dehydration. I'm thinking we're going well. How many runs can we make?
Hey, we told him, "You soft puss, get ready, get out there and play."
I knew Greg Ritchie was in next. So I said to him, "Oh, that's fine, mate. We'll get someone tough out here. We'll get a Queenslander." And he just looked at me. Off was the last word.
The ailing Jones almost retired at 170, but decided to keep going and became the first Australian to score a Test double century in India, finally out for 210.
He went into spasm in the ice bath immediately after. I mean, he was in real trouble. He was rushed off to the Apollo Hospital. I can remember the next morning and seeing him in the pool. So he was back from the hospital. Talk about the resilience of youth.
Put him on a trip, he turns up the next day and he feels. He couldn't have been too bad. I mean, like...
I keep saying to him, I made you. 210. Imagine if he went off 180, retired hurt. No one would remember it.
Stopped him talking for a while, which was handy.
I rate it very highly. It's in the top 5.
It's not in my top 50. Heaps of runs were scored. Please.
If you're in a room sitting alone, he will make sure 10 other people sitting in that room know jolly well that he got a 200.
He loved to brag about that when he made 200 runs. He's vomited all the time. It's, of course, without any doubt, one of the finest innings. The condition was very, very hard. But let us say that, not him.
We watched it on what now, in retrospect, is very grainy television. Because at that point, that's what it was. But I remember the enormous frustration and wondering why every Indian batsman had to look for the glory shot. All of them were caught on the boundary.
We got out playing some shots and some terrible shots. I got out trying to play the lofted shot. Greg Matthews took an overhead catch. At the end of the day, we had a team meeting in the dressing room and Kapil just laid into us for the shots that we had played, and we got out.
You can't do that. I think, in our condition, how can Australia can play better than us?
7 for 270 overnight and more than 100 to avoid the follow-on, but that didn't deter Kapil Dev.
Kapil hit the first ball over mid-off for a boundary. He hit the second ball, slashed it over covers for a boundary. And the third ball, he flicked over mid-wicket. And all of us just looked at each other saying, what did he tell us yesterday? But then he went on to get a brilliant 100 that saved the follow-on.
I wasn't a disciplined batsman. If somebody says you have to play 20 overs not to get runs, I would kill myself because that's not me.
The Australians wrapped up the Indian tail after they'd averted the follow-on. But this was the man they needed earlier, Kapil Dev, falling to Matthews, who took 5 wickets.
AB walked up to me twice and said, I'm going to take you off and do that. And this is how up for it I was. I said to him, piss off and look after the other end.
Here is a 45 degree and he's wearing sweater. We said, oh, he's nutty.
I wanted to show India how easy it was.
Bowling in 40-degree heat and a jumper, I never sort of really came to grips with that.
He was one of those characters out of the comic books.
I said, mate, aren't you hot? He goes, man, that's the price you pay for being cool.
With a 177 lead, Australian intentions were positive. Quick runs, and they lost wickets in achieving that. Alan Border played one out of the how not to bat manual, then declared at the overnight total with a 347 lead. Indian victory hopes now depend on Gavaskar and Dev.
Crashman Wallop. Spread out, boys. Bloody hell, the game's quickly getting away from us.
At 90, Gavaskar miscued from Bright and was caught by Dean Jones in the covers. The vital dismissal was Kapil Dev. He was caught by Bright off Matthews for 1.
Ray was in his 30s. He had my gun on him back then. He just started, whoa, got the wobbles on, oof, down he went.
We were watching from the dressing room. We didn't know what had happened.
Ray came into their change rooms, an enormous amount of trouble.
Several acrimonious incidents finally unsettled Pandit, who played on to Matthews. And the message was clear.
In this day and age, there would have been all sorts of penalties and suspensions meted out as a consequence. It was tough. On that last day, it was really tough.
And Sharma was given not out stumped at Tim Zero. And Chetan had some quite stern words. Chetan wanted to do something with the bat. Siggy offering himself. You will see me acting like a monkey and interacting with the crowd because they were saying things that I didn't think Indians would ever say to me. I didn't mind a bit of argy-bargy and push and shove. I wasn't talking about anyone's family or anything, but I got personal with some of the guys.
There were times throughout the day where I got sort of chipped by the umpire for, slowing the over rate down too much, and I'm having a crack at him, and I got threatened to be sent off. I said, oh, you can't send me off. And then, of course, you have that thing, Kenny Booney, who'd been, trusty vice-captain, he gave the bucket of Ino.
Ravi Shastri maintained India's victory charge, hitting Matthews into the stand.
Australia knew there was a game on, and I was not going to back off.
It's a bit edgy, the smiling knife, Ravi. He had that little bit of punch in him that probably the other guys didn't.
How can you possibly lose a game of cricket when you've made 570?
I think the ears were on fire from AB yelling at me for fuck's sake, don't get here for another 4.
Ray Bright, he was falling in and out of consciousness, and one time when he was conscious, he said, just check if AB still needs me out there. And I heard him as like I was sitting there, saying, tell him to get his something ass out here. Some 10 minutes later, I turned to my right and I saw him come out of those changing rooms. It was the bravest thing I ever saw. I couldn't believe this old sucker. He was gone.
Kieran Moore aimed to sweep at Ray Bright. He was adjudged LBW, 8 for 334.
I just thought it was fantastic what he did. Really fantastic. It just, I would have cried.
4 to win. Yadav went for the winning stroke, but he was bowled off his pads by Bright, 9 for 344.
It dawned on me that if you try and be a bloody hero here, you could lose this game.
But I got to tell you, I'm more of a hero kind of guy. I'm going for it, man.
Shastri levels the scores, exposing Maninder Singh.
Standing at the top of my mark thinking, I'm good for this. Woo! And it's like electricity shooting out of your fingers. It was just the rush.
It's a tie. The match has ended in a tie. It's an unbelievable result.
So when I look up and I see everyone running around, jumping, carrying on, I'm thinking, we won it.
It was just like an emotional roller coaster for those next, 5-10 minutes. Nobody knew what had happened. Some of us felt that we had lost.
That was out. He didn't hit that. I don't have any restless nights.
He hit the ball, man. Of course. And he turns around. We had some serious guys from Texas, Even Clint would have been proud.
Bang. Fastest gun in the West.
We felt Maninder Singh played the ball, but it's fine. End of the day, some decision come on your way, some goes against you.
So Vikram, you didn't know it was a tied test match until you were walking off the ground. Tell us how you felt.
People may think I have not favoured any Indian team, but I was confident he was out. So confident, and he was plumb in front of the wicket. How can I say no?
He never did another test, and, this is probably one of those old wives' tales, but they burnt the house down.
We felt we could have won this test match, and they were happy they saved the test match. That was the difference in that test.
Let's get real here. I didn't win a test match in the subcontinent. They're a good cricket team anyway, but they're a fantastic cricket team in their own conditions. I think India's probably the toughest tour. If you go back into when I first played against India, before I went, you start hearing all the horror stories from, past tourists. Going back to '69, how they, they nearly died. They got hepatitis. They were crook, all the time. They spent, 6 weeks on the toilet. You have a gun next to your bed, you'd shoot yourself. That's how crook you are.
Some found the richness of the food and the spice of the food a bit hard to manage, and some, like SK Warne, of course, just wouldn't go near it.
Warne had such a limited diet. Broccoli, what?
You wouldn't eat anything other than baked beans on toast.
One of the big beans bakers, quick to seize a great moment in marketing, has a load going on the first flight tomorrow. The food parcel provides each member of the touring party with enough beans and spaghetti to see them through the tour.
And in those days, we were actually rooming. We had roommates. So you're just hoping like hell that you didn't get Shane Warne with all those beans on board.
I've seen him order a pizza to come into an Indian restaurant from outside while the others, they're having their Indian tucker.
I've always made the decision that they've probably got more of an idea how to cook a chicken curry than they do a lamb chop.
I got crook, there's no doubt about that. I got crook a few times, and timing yourself to be getting rid of what you had to before you got on the bus to the airport was always a challenge.
And we used to have this saying, to lose patience is to lose the battle. And it just used to come out all the time.
What you see, smells, taste, texture, it's insane. It's just always in front of you. The good, the bad, the extremes of India are just numbingly breathtaking at times, if that makes sense.
The first night we landed in India in '86, and I was rooming with Fat Cat, and Fat Cat said to me, let's go down to the bar for a drink. So we went down to the bar, and all of a sudden, these two things come flying across the bar on their back legs, fighting against each other. I've gone to Fat Cat, shit, fuck, those cats are big, aren't they? And he said, mate, they're not cats, they're rats.
I know the world's changed a lot in the 20 or 30 years since that was the case, but they're the stories that sort of make cricket, like make the history of the game interesting, and ones I find fascinating.
Touring Australia, was that fun for you? Was it an easy experience?
Easy experience. Australia is tough. It is. It is difficult for our guys to get out there to just...
Yeah, there were some who were a little bit more international than others, but those who hadn't spent a lot of time out of India really struggled. We sort of assumed that they'd love coming to Australia, but they didn't because it took them out of their things that they were familiar with.
I know the Indians struggle here. They find our food a bit rich.
When I toured for the first time, there were no Indian restaurants there. We went to Kentucky, we went to Chinese, or we went to,
I wanted to eat a burger. It said cheeseburger. And being a vegetarian, I thought the cheeseburger was just cheese. Thankfully, I didn't have it because my wife, she told me don't touch it. The only thing for me is, can I get something vegetarian to eat?
It's got better. It's not just the butter chicken and this thing, but there's some spice now. I'll get stuck into a steak. Man. Indian food will be once in a week or once in 2 weeks. Otherwise, it's Australian.
When you tour another country, you have to go with an open mind. For example, the first thing that will strike you once you land into India is the honking. Oh, honking is extraordinary. I myself sometimes lose it.
Seriously, it's just unbelievable. It's like as if everybody's in a rush. Just pipe down.
The chaotic nature of how people get around. I reckon we may have probably knocked off 4 or 5 cyclists on the way to our accommodation from the airport. And, people just go flying, off their bikes. And we're all like looking out the window and trying to look around the corner if he's going to get up.
Foreigners comes, they can see the cow middle of the road and they take all the pictures. They never seen that.
Indian culture and Western culture obviously is very different. That's what makes it so beautiful, isn't the world? You go out and you try and understand why they are like that.
We jump in the car and we're going, and within 20 seconds there's a guy riding a camel down the side of the road. Who knows what you're going to get here?
What is confronting for a lot of people is just the sheer weight of humanity. I mean, the Indians fundamentally are competing even for space on the sidewalk.
Your country is 5 times the size of India. And you have 23 million. We are 5 times smaller, and we are 1.2 going 1.3 going 1.4 5 years from now.
Too many people in India. Good God must be Indian.
Snap coming into the attack. Right arm medium fast. Gone, dropped, straight to third slip for Barker. A regulation catch. That's a bad start for India.
Boys, bowled him. Nothing wrong with that ball.
That's well hit. Into the Clem Jones stand.
It's out. What a catch. A jam. That's a classic. David Boone takes a beauty at short leg.
Hold him. Knocked him over. He's hit that one straight down the ground. See you later there.
He's got that away beautifully. Bad ball, and that's going to go for 4.
It's 3 love. And what's more, it's about to be 4 love.
Through the 90s, I don't think India ever believed they could win. Well, I remember saying at that time, if Tendulkar bats well, India sleeps well.
Oh, what a shot. Kaur, stand up and applaud. That's what people want to see in a test match. Dwex, there's a chance, it's fine. He'll get it, use his wide, he'll come back for the second, surely. Well played. Sachin Tendulkar. His first 100 at the Sydney Cricket Ground, a magnificent knock in good time.
He is the closest thing to batting perfection that I've seen.
Young Sachin Tendulkar remains not out to the delight of this crowd. They appreciate a fine innings and a young man with a talent class.
He played one in a manner that allowed everybody else to play one.
He's a good player. What a glorious late cut. Waited for that. It should go all the way. That was a great late cut. He waited and waited.
Shane Warne bowling to Tendulkar. The best versus the best. You can see tenseness there written all over the face of both of them.
I believe Tendulkar and Warne were the two most analysed cricketers in the history of the game, the two greatest cricketers of our times.
What Tendulkar has done, particularly against Warne, who was the master, was absolutely remarkable.
What is it like living when 1 billion people think you're a god?
No, I'm no god. I'm Sachin Tendulkar, and it feels comfortable to be Sachin.
I'd struggle to cope with the adulation that someone like Sachin Tendulkar has endured through his time. I really would. You know, having to get disguised to go out to the movies with your wife. I mean, you know, that's crazy.
Tendulkar was the first player who did not have a life. If Tendulkar wanted to go to a temple, Tendulkar went at 2 a.m. If Tendulkar wanted to drive his fancy car, he drove it, he went outside of Mumbai to drive. They did not have a life. Tendulkar couldn't just go into a restaurant and say, you know what, I feel like a pizza today. No, you cannot do that.
Very extreme behaviour has surrounded you for decades. That must be a bizarre amount of pressure to live under.
I've enjoyed all that, to be honest. And I wanted people to expect something from me, and expectations from people allowed me to push myself harder.
He might have a life only when he goes abroad, so that he can do things on his own with his family and walk around. Yeah, Sachin, Dhoni, Virat, no chance.
They spend their life balancing the privileges of the life against the frustrations of not having a life in a way.
Passion for this game. And it teaches you so much. The ebb and the flow, you rise to heights, they put you on top in this country. You screw up the next day, get out for 0, you're no hero. The people, they'll tell you on your face what they think of you.
So if I'm a vendor out in India, I sell flags on the way in, and on the way out, I sell effigies.
Millions of fans, watching this sport. They want to play for the country, and it is us who gets the job to do for the country. So responsibility, at the same time, pressure.
In the world that we've grown up in, it's a game, it's a sport. Yes, we're competitive. Yes, there's a lot riding on it. But not for a moment did I want to see an effigy of myself being burnt. Do you think of anything worse?
Make no mistake, when you play for India, you have to accept, you walk on the street, you played like a absolute, whatever, immune. Walk. But it toughens you up.
Our fans, they rock. They make a superstar. It's been blown out of proportion. I think people think too highly of it. I think then when people make cricketers superheroes, I think they don't deserve that, because we don't change people's lives. All we do is try and make people happy for a little period of time. I think there are far bigger superheroes in this country who have made people, who have changed lives, but not cricketers.
That there are millions and millions of people who are willing to give their left arm and left leg to be where you are. If you look at the enormity of the situation in a country of 1.5 billion, how many get to play?
When you play and you're being captain of the country, you achieve the ultimate. I don't like to say that I shouldn't be famous, I should not have reached there. I think I'm satisfied, I'm content in a sense.
Wonderful story of Tendulkar and Shane Warne. And walking down the mall in Adelaide, the odd bloke was yelling out, "Hi, Warnie, how are you, mate?" And, Warnie would wave to the passers-by, one thing or other. And Sachin said to Shane, "I would do anything to be able to do this at home, to have casual interactions with passers-by." He said, "It's just not possible."
For the all-conquering Australian cricket team, India in India is the last frontier. Indian captain Sourav Ganguly is already talking tough and bemusing Steve Waugh.
I find some of his comments a bit strange, saying that we've only played weak sides to win our 15 Test matches in a row. I think he forgot that he was one of those sides. So, as a leader, that's not a real good thing to say about your own side.
The crowds can't wait to give the tourists a run for their money. And this is just a practice session.
The guys are enjoying themselves. We had a good training session this morning and the travel's been fine so far. Everything's gone smoothly.
Hello and welcome to Wankhede Stadium here in Mumbai for day one of the first test of this three-match series between Australia and India. Australia, on the end of a 15 test match consecutive winning streak, go into this match here in India having not won in this part of the world for 31 years.
Thank you. Ganguly and Waugh didn't like each other. Steve Waugh very much the pragmatist. Ganguly is the prince, regal stock, royal stock. Steve didn't like him.
I feel as if India haven't played a lot of test match cricket recently, so we'll try and put them under pressure first up.
Both characters who were very driven to win, but strong characters. Sourav Ganguly was a great example of a different kind of Indian leader who didn't necessarily want to be seen as the good boy. Look at what came before. Tendulkar, the good boy. Dravid, the good boy. Kumble is the good boy. We always had these good boy captains.
Is it a bit of motivation to try and break this winning sequence of the Australian team?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a new series. We won here before when Victoria, so we're looking forward to that.
I think aggression start building in Sourav Ganguly's time. He's the one who instrumental to go one step ahead. And like, if you touch me, I'll hit you. I must give credit to him.
He came, the approach was totally different. He wanted to give it back. As in Indian, we come from a different culture. We want to focus on the skill, we want to make runs, pick wickets. But when it comes to, playing aggressive cricket, a bit of mind game, a bit of eye contact, he said, don't shy off, just go out there and back yourself. I'm there with you. That's what you need from the captain.
And the Indian public just embraced it and they gathered and they just stood there and went, you know what, this is what cricket's about. We're playing the best. We're not letting the best going to beat us.
Oh, and the question's on. That's it. He's got him. He's got him. That's the first breakthrough, the one they needed. Ganguly first there, congratulating his bowler. He knows how important this is. That's the end of Langer.
Well, we first came across Harbhajan in 2001.
Oh, he's got him. First ball. Rockwar's gone. First ball. Harbhajan Singh has got rid of the best player in Australia.
He took the fight to Australia in exactly the same way that Australia would do it. So he's the most Australian Indian I know.
I just remember sitting waiting to bat and watching, and there's, the spin bowlers, Harbhajan, and men around the bat, and I'm thinking, that looks frightening. I do remember thinking there, right, I've got to find a way to get out there with a positive mindset. So I've sort of pretended that I was on 30 already.
Short delivery and punished. Oh, he loves that shot too. That's right off the middle of the bat. Well, there it goes. He's got hold of that one too. Magnificently played, way down the ground. What a magnificent hit. Here's Hayden's decided that this is the go, and that's another magnificent sweep shot. Oh, great shot. That's a lovely cover drive. Matthew Hayden is playing the innings of his career.
That was remarkable. Hayden was, he was the most intimidating player when he was in full cry.
Just a different league. Brute, bully. Just unbelievable how big he is when he stood. You felt as if this part of the chest was covering the offside and this one was covering the onside.
Well, that's a big one. Yet another six for Adam Gilchrist. This Indian attack now is being taken to the cleaners.
And of course, Gilchrist, he took the game to another level.
He'll get the single. That's a great Test match 100 for Adam Gilchrist. His second in Test match cricket. And it's put Australia in a very strong position here in this first Test.
100 off 80 balls, thought, too easy. Come on, boys.
That's it. Australia have won 16 Test matches in a row. They've won this one in great style.
While the Australians celebrated, the Indians rued missed opportunities.
We had a chance when they were 99 for 5, but Adam Gilchrist played an outstanding knock. You can't do much when somebody plays like that, and hats off to him.
It's exciting to sit up the other end and watch such dynamic stroke play. It really is. 4 after 4. There was a period there where it felt like he got 20 off and over or something. So with that sort of dynamic scoring, I just had to sit and watch.
I hadn't really given myself a chance in the innings that I'd played so far on tour. So I guess surviving, giving myself a chance to build an innings, and luckily I was able to do that.
And then it was all about to change.
When you talk 2001, you automatically talk Calcutta and that amazing performance, that amazing comeback.
India had made wholesale changes, trying to find a formula to upset the Australians.
History was made when off-spinner Harbhajan Singh took India's first Test hat-trick in the middle of an Australian collapse.
Ricky Ponting, out LBW.
After trapping Ricky Ponting, first Test hero Adam Gilchrist was out next delivery.
Yes, he's got him!
On replay, the ball appeared to pitch outside leg stump and get an inside edge.
I remember walking off there just going, oh, no drama, hadn't out of my control that really, no big deal.
That brought Shane Warne to the crease. The rest is history.
Oh, he's got him! Has he got him? Has he got him? He's going over to the square leg. The celebration's on.
A lot of our myths in Indian society are based on impossible occurrences almost. The gods come down to earth and do impossible things. We are big on fairy tales and gods. You lose the first test in 3 days, you're down 270 runs, and then to bat through the fourth day and win on the fifth day could only come out of a child's fairy tale. It could only be the gods coming down to earth to do it.
2 innings of class from VVS Lakshman saved India from embarrassment. So dominant was Australia, few believed they could bounce back. But Lakshman resumed on 109, steering India past Australia's first innings total.
And that's for Australia. Have to bat again.
And then went on the attack.
Shot down the ground for 4. Well pitched up, smashed to the offside again. That's a wonderful shot. This place has come alive.
Dravid got the better of his battle with Shane Warne.
Can go for 3 in a row.
Lakshman's own double century, an innings of exquisite timing, both with the bat and for India. Dravid joined in with his first century against Australia.
That's where great moments in sport come from, because odds are defied, and the odds were defied against a very good Australian attack. It was the best of the best.
At night, Saurav Ganguly told me we were going to win. There was a party, I was the only non-cricketer in the house, and he said, we are going to win. The Australians love to hate Harbhajan Singh as well. And he said, this young man is going to win it for us. And I still remember the chill.
Eden Gardens is erupting. They can smell the most improbable victory ever. And Sachin, the great Sachin, running in, I'm thinking, don't sweep, don't sweep. I do not need to sweep.
And it's a big shout, and he's out! First ball, first innings, first ball, second innings.
Plum, like dead.
Oh, he's batted that. Oh, he's given him! He's given him! That's the end of the test match. India have won in dramatic style.
Just look at the footage from the Eden Gardens of that test match. It meant so much to India to win.
Despite a magnificent double century from Matthew Hayden, India has taken the honours of the third inciting test in Chennai.
It was fitting that the young Sikh Harbhajan Singh should score the winning runs.
For the second, India have won the test match. Harbhajan Singh, who has done so much.
The victory unleashed waves of emotion across India. Its comeback in the series all the more astounding after losing the opening test and being forced to follow on in Calcutta.
Well, it was not easy. You lose the Bombay test in 3 days where you didn't play good cricket. And after the first 2 days of the test match in Calcutta, I couldn't have imagined in my dreams that we'll win this series.
Despite being let down by some of his high-profile batsmen, Captain Steve Waugh's refusing to criticise his team.
Winning's important, but it's not everything. The way we played here is tremendous credit to all the guys, the attitude, the commitment.
For the tiny island of 50-odd Australian supporters, it was a grim end to a gripping series. In Calcutta, they drew this reaction from Indian captain Saurav Ganguly.
It just brought India together again. It told India you can win. It told India you've got a dramatic leader who wants to win. 2001, to me, if I had to stop covering cricket just now, 2001 would be the greatest series I ever saw.
Are we all right time-wise? I have to be the gig at 12:30, the absolute latest. What time is it? Time flies when you're having a shithouse time. Come on, brother, let's go here.
All right, are we rolling? The Indian cricket team and how they've developed over the last 30 years, what's the difference, do you think, in how you played them 30 years ago to now?
What's changed?
Oh, attitude. Huge attitude now. Enough of having the foot on the board. You're not going to put this in because Cricket Australia won't let you, but I was with a seriously senior Cricket Australia official, and there was an Indian gentleman who might have had one can of personality too many, and fingered his chest and said, "We don't need you white boys anymore." And I was like, wow.
The elephant in the corner of the room is India financially are the kings of global cricket.
I mean, if you look at an Indian market and add up all the other countries of the world put together, it would be a fraction of the size of the Indian market.
The bucks. Maximum bucks come from India. 70-80% of the revenue. And this is not imagination. These are facts.
I can't see that slowing down. You know, for a start, that billion plus people is not going to change. If anything, it's going to grow.
All major ICC sponsors are all from India.
ICC, International Cricket Council, should be Indian Cricket Council. No revenue, tell me what's going to happen to cricket.
Because India is bringing in the big bucks, India wants to control world cricket. Would not have happened in the 80s, but the new generation of Indian administrators are saying, you know what, we pull out of world cricket, there is no world cricket as we know it just now.
Till 92, 93, India was not such a superpower as far as the game of cricket was concerned. Mr. I.S. Bindra became the president in 93. Lalit Modi brought in the idea of IPL. The IPL is a huge success. And now every association gets good money.
Let's be brutally honest, we need to make sure the shareholder, for want of a better term, is getting what they need as well. I'm not necessarily just jump into bed and do exactly what they say at all times, but they need to be very, very heavily considered when having a conversation.
Is it healthy? If it's well administrated, it doesn't matter where it's coming from, as long as there's the intentions of ensuring the game globally is in a healthy state.
India is now telling the world, we are the bullies, we are not the pliant people anymore. And so India's flexing its muscles.
When the shoe was on the other foot, do you think India had a say? Absolutely no say.
Everybody in the world behaves the same when they have power in their hands. I don't think power is cultural. Power is just an aspect of human spirit. I have power, I will behave differently with you because you need me more than I need you. If Australia had 75% of the world's cricket economy, Australia would behave in exactly the same way. If England had 75% of the world's economy, England would behave and did behave in the past in exactly the same way.
The way they've played their cricket is almost on the back of that attitude that, hang on a sec, we're not copping this crap from you blokes. We run the game.
The new modern India, the aggressive India, as seen particularly by Dhoni and by Kohli as quite aggressive young men representing the modern era.
In earlier days, Australia became the superpower. Now India is the superpower. The wheels always turn.
This Mumbai hotel could be the place where cricket changes forever.
Oh, look, I think it's definitely history. I think, you know, if we look back in 10 years' time, this is going to be a massive landmark in cricket.
A landmark built on the massive money now being pumped into the game in India.
Bollywood royalty has been flown in for the event. It's hoped teams owned by the likes of Shilpa Shetty will, before long, become global brands.
Like you would see a Manchester United or you see a Chelsea. I know it's a long way to go.
Lalit Modi always believed in glamour. When the IPL teams were auctioned, he contacted few Bollywood people to buy the teams. And that's how Shah Rukh Khan had bought a team, Preeti Zinta has bought a team. Because these are two very important things in India, Bollywood and cricket. And more than 90% of the people in this country, they watch cricket.
Now, Lalit Modi and his creation of the IPL was very smart. The two biggest ingredients and the boldest ingredients India's got, and he's put them together.
Genius, like, wow. Just two superpowers already combining together just to explode.
To think that it went from a standing start to $1 billion business in the first year is unbelievable. I mean, I just can't think of another sport that has been able to achieve that.
Yeah, the average age in India is less than 25. It's meant this rise of youth commercialisation of product, of wealth, with perfect storm with cricket and the IPL. But I think world cricket's actually benefited out of that perfect storm.
Bollywood and cricket, really an indefinable line. They are so closely linked.
I got invited to be in some Bollywood movie. Like, it was a cricket movie about this no hope of cricketer that all of a sudden smacked. I went for 38 off the second last over, some crap like that. It was a ridiculously poor plot, let's face it. Brent, myself, and Brad Haddon, and Brad Hogg. It's horrendous, I think is the best way to describe it. It isn't the A-list of Hollywood, I know that, but you know what, I was in it, and, you know, I just can't believe I was in it, to be fair. Yeah, go look at it, it's called Victory. I think in the Razzies, it probably would have taken it out.
For me, Bollywood does not exist, to be honest, in cricket. It really doesn't matter who's involved, who's not involved, whether there's glamour, whether there's no glamour, whether there's film actresses and Bollywood coming and watching the games. It hardly matters to me. For me, I think all that matters for me is what can I do on a cricket field and what can I achieve for the team which I'm playing for.
T20 extremely important because it's the cash cow that generates the revenue. Test match cricket, I'm telling you, will not sustain on its own.
I still believe Test cricket is the ultimate test, without any doubt. But T20 have given lot of things to cricket.
If you say, I think you go and watch Test match cricket, I would go and watch Test match cricket. But if you ask me to go and watch T20, I'll be hesitant.
I want my son to be able to have a chance, if he wants to play cricket when he grows up, to play Test cricket for Australia. That's what I love. I'm very passionate about. I still love watching Test cricket.
Great players are players who've done well in Test cricket, as simple as it gets. I think Test cricket is something which is the pinnacle.
The irony of it all is that the players judge each other and countries are judged by their achievements and their accomplishments in the traditional game, not in the frolics. But all we talk about are the frolics.
Indian batting master Sachin Tendulkar has always attracted the bulk of attention when the Indians arrive.
Welcome to Australia.
The man widely acknowledged as the world's best batsman says playing in Australia is the biggest challenge in international cricket.
It's always a learning process, even for us. I mean, though I've been to Australia a couple of occasions, it's still going to be a learning process. You never stop learning in this game.
Indian skipper Sourav Ganguly says the biggest challenge will be adapting to the harder Australian wickets.
We've got 10 days before the first test starts in Brisbane, and we need to get used to the conditions quickly.
The Brisbane test of the 03-04 series, Sourav Ganguly, he was a bloke we thought we could just get up. He wasn't courageous. That was a sort of banter between us.
Sort of Ganguly, and you better believe he's going to get a working over. Always hit that well.
We just thought, whoa.
There's 100. An excellent 100 as well. Isn't he excited?
That set a real tone for that tour, and that became a real battle, a real dogfight.
Goes for it. Superb innings. And he races to 201 not out.
Fantastic innings. That's a marvellous shot from VVS Laxman.
That's over the top. That is something, I'm here to tell you. There it is. 2 centuries, 1 Rahul Dravid, and now to VVS Laxman.
Oh, there she goes. Game on.
6 for 41, they're terrific figures.
Winning in Adelaide was something very, very special.
Another short one, it's through this time, and that will do it. Have not won a test match in Australia since 1981. What a wonderful moment for Indian cricket.
After that, me and Sachin spent around 6 hours in that Australian dressing room. Then I understood
what Australian cricket stood for. They lost the game after having dominated. Rather than being down and having a go at each other, they were celebrating with the opposition and celebrating amongst themselves. And that's one of the reasons why they came back strongly in the next test match. Melbourne, they defeated us.
Cracking shot, beautifully played. He's timed it brilliantly as well. Sensational innings for 195. 25 balls and 5 sixes, well played.
Great shot from Ponting.
Oh, that's a good shot. That's a beautiful shot. Oh, and he's going for it. He's hit that one very hard.
There it is. Well played, Ricky Ponting.
Double hundreds in successive games.
Hayden and Ponting with that huge partnership. A century and a double century in the first innings that gave Australia the opportunity to level the series.
Australia-India Test history, the stakes couldn't be higher. One test all, the Border Gavaskar Trophy on the line. Steve Waugh today starts his 168th and last test.
There's going to be a lot of emotion out there, but a lot of goodwill, and I'm just thinking it's going to be all positive. So, that's the way I'm going into this match.
I'm very happy for Steve that he's gone the way he wanted, so which is good. But that's over, and from our 11 point of view, it's a test match we need to play well, and it's a test match we need to win.
And there it is. Declaration at 7 for 705. Tendulkar not out 240. The Masters back.
Oh, he's reverse swept him. That's it. Oh boy, he's cheeky today. The SCG are on their feet. Justin Langer has played a superb innings here.
Swing, the man's there. He's back, he's back. Oh, good catch. Good catch, and Kumway's got 8. What a performance.
Easily India's best chance of winning in Australia, and I think even today, Saurav Ganguly and the others will think, you know what, maybe that last evening in Sydney. Maybe that last evening in Sydney, Steve Waugh's last day in international cricket, and it was a typical Waugh innings, isn't it? The match is not over till I'm out. And he hung it, and he hung it, and he hung it.
Chance in the outfield, and it's been taken.
But if you see when Waugh gets out, you see all the Indians come running in from the boundary to shake hands with Steve Waugh. And it told me at that point that under the prickliness of India-Australia cricket lay a deep respect for each other.
And Australia have saved the match. The series finishes at 1-1, and India retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy.
And to think that we as India would not look upon 1-1 as, wow, we went and drew and did not lose, and to think, you know what, opportunity lost, is in itself a change in the way we viewed Indian teams touring Australia.
The tantalising prospect of tackling India on its home soil has left Australian cricket captain Ricky Ponting rueing a broken thumb.
Champions Trophy one-day tournament in England. My heart just went. I was vice-captain, so I assumed that I'd probably be asked to captain, which I did not want. I had horrible demons of personally that I had to get over and get through and fight off from 2001, from the 0-0-1-1. And I don't want a captain.
I put a batting glove on over at the Splashes today and took my bat with me and picked that up as well, and I can't hold on to the bat just yet.
By the time that it was confirmed that Punter was out and they did ask me, I was keen.
It was always going to be a tough series because we also had some great players playing in our team. Both teams had to bring their A game to beat the side.
India versus Australia. This is Michael Clarke making his debut in Test match cricket.
Aggressive shot from Michael Clarke.
Flashed onto that quickly, Clarke.
Put your hand in the air, raise the bat, young fella. 100 on debut, great stuff. Straight off the glove, very good wicket there for Harbhajan Singh. And he's gone. The good work by Harbhajan continues.
Harbhajan gets 11 wickets for the match.
It's got to be real close. Real close again. Straight away a big shout. First ball, a wicket to Shane Warne. Kasparovich, after drinks and he's bowled him. He's gone for the hook. Man getting underneath it and he's taken it. McGrath the catcher. It's curtains for India. It's all over. Australia delighted. They won the first Test match here in this series.
Certainly India was favoured to win after cleaning up the Australian lower order overnight. Darren Lehmann played a forgettable shot, as did Shane Warne, while Michael Kasprowicz and Glenn McGrath forgot to hit the ball. Michael Clark's resolute 39 not out on top of Damien Martin's timely 100 gave Australia a chance, but the glint in Virender Sehwag's eye as he cut loose against McGrath suggested a final day's chase of 210 was well within India's grasp. Sadly, we'll never know. Any thoughts of immediate play on the final day were quickly drowned.
The ground is sloshy and the whole sky is still covered with clouds.
The Australian cricket teams arrived in Nagpur to prepare for the third test against India, which starts on Tuesday. The Australians were given an enthusiastic reception from fans and the local media at the airport, but there was a heavy security presence just to make sure that things didn't get out of hand.
Big one over the top. Fantastic shot from Damien Martin. And it's Pearson. That's a great shot to get to 100. Outside edge, don't take it. A beautiful delivery by Gillespie. Very good shout, and Gillespie's success against Tendulkar continues. Gone. Number one for Jason Gillespie. He's sixth in the match. And Bob, forget that, that's out. And there it is. It's a great catch in the deep. And that's a perfect finish for Australia. India all out 200. Shane Warne picks up the last wicket.
It's an emotional place here, India. You're up and you're down, and but we've put a lot of time and effort into this and a lot of planning. Wonderfully fulfilling experience.
We outplayed. Credit to Adam and the Australian team. They really played really well right through the series. I think they've played very good cricket and outplayed us.
And it was all achieved without injured captain Ricky Ponting.
I thought that was our finest achievement. That was the pinnacle for us as a group.
It still hurts. This is our home, our forte. They come over and you want to make sure you beat them somehow.
Now, when India do well in cricket, we all love the coach, captain and team. When they do badly, we all hate them.
When the time came to appoint a coach in India, it was sort of Ganguly who pushed for Greg Chappell to be India's coach because he said Chappell improved my batting.
Former Australian cricket captain Greg Chappell has been named as the new coach of the Indian team.
What attracted you to that job?
I thought if I can't coach Australia, I would love to coach in the engine room of cricket. At that stage, India had become the power in the game, off the field more than on the field.
When Greg Chappell was appointed, I was actually in the race for that position as well. Greg took it on and he faced some serious headwinds.
I expected people to take me at face value. I probably didn't take into consideration that a blunt retort might not be received in the same way it would be received in Australia.
I gotta go. I need to tell you. But if I see one more batsman just wasting time in the nets, I'm going to scream. You blokes are living a dream. You're really living a dream a lot of other people would like to have. But I see you guys wasting.
Because they're not used to, yelling and screaming at them, they'll retreat into the furthest corners of the room, and to bring them back out and earn the trust back again is near on impossible.
Sachin, Ganguly, Dravid, Kumble, if they have regard for you as a coach, half the job is done. Chappell didn't focus on that point very well.
I mean, there were 3-4 major players who sort of led the team. Whereas in this case, it's slightly different, a socialistic kind of a structure Greg Chappell is talking about. Team more important than an individual, what happens in Australia all the time. So there is a huge clash, a philosophical clash, I would say, which is leading to all this. So Ganguly is not just being viewed as a player, he's being viewed as a rebel who wants to bring in a different culture.
While Sarab was a good
leader up to a point. He wasn't necessarily the ideal captain. He asked me a question. He said, "How do you think I'm going?" And I said, "I think you're struggling because you've got too much going on. Maybe if you gave away the captaincy and we could focus on getting your batting back, then I think you've got 3 or 4 more good years in you. But if you try and hang on to the captaincy, you might lose both." And he took that as a declaration of war.
It's been a real monsoon wedding. The stormy relationship between Captain Sourav Ganguly and coach Greg Chappell looks set to continue after a 6-hour crisis meeting of the Indian Cricket Board. A confidential email from Chappell to board officials leaked to the media says Ganguly was no longer fit to lead the side.
I've still got cricket left in me, and it's a challenge for me to see if I'm good enough to make it back, because I've never been left out in the last 11 years. The thing we share in common is that, we don't take things quietly. Lying back, if something is not happening right, he'll stand up and fight for it. And I'm probably of that nature as well.
The Indian Cricket Board has appointed the stylish right-hander Rahul Dravid as the new skipper.
A drama of farcical proportion.
Well, that sort of headline and article is not going to help me do my job, so I prefer to avoid getting that sort of information early in the morning.
When you alienate a couple of the princely characters in Indian cricket, your immediate future is in doubt.
If you see the Ganguly, I think has been an integral part of the Indian team for many years now. I think he has scored heavily. He has done extremely well, I think, for the team. And I'm sure he will do again.
I think Greg Chappell was... Possibly, he couldn't gel with the team, That's what I feel. I think he had different ideas about the team and how he can build the team for future. That didn't go down well, I think, with the team, senior players of the team.
The point that escapes most people is that my involvement in Sourav's being left out, losing the captaincy and being left out of the team, at no stage was personal.
Greg Chappell had his own ego. The Indian players had their own egos. And when there is an ego tussle, there is a big problem.
I think a lot of people make this big mistake where they feel that, he's been a great player or whatever. He's had some very good record in international cricket, so he's going to have the similar record in coaching as well. Coaching is a completely different experience as compared to what the player is.
Indian team coach Greg Chappell is attacked in public by an angry Kalinga Sena member at the Bhubaneswar airport.
I just got a punch full on the side of the head. Immediately went deaf. My immediate reaction was he's broken my jaw. This bloke that just charged and broke, just leapt through the police cordon. He's going to as he's about to deliver the punch, and I got it sort of side on rather than full on. Noise inside my head was like a bloody gun going off. And it wasn't an incidental incident. This was an orchestrated event. But outside of that, I've not met one Indian who has said anything but positive things about the time that I spent in India.
Do the players have lingering issues with Greg Chappell?
Not lingering, deep and alive.
When you look back now, is it a happy memory? Are you proud of it? Or is it more disappointment?
Oh, look, I think I vacillate between all of those things, but mostly I'm proud of it and mostly I enjoyed it.
He had the misfortune to be an Indian coach. And I don't think he was really cut out to handle the manipulations in the course of Indian cricket. But that still doesn't take away the greatness of the man himself.
The breeding ground of Indian cricket, it's academies like this, and I can tell you there are 65 cricket grounds in the area, but these kids know all about the India-Australia rivalry.
On the field, we see some kind of fights on the field, but basically I think off the field, both the Indians and Australians are good friends and share a good bond with each other.
Their accent, a bit confusing. They're always with the mate.
So the relation between India and Australia is a love-hate relationship.
They're not very friendly with each other.
Virat Kohli is the most Australian Indian we have because of his attitude on the field. People over here are too emotional and they're too sensitive. Sometimes they can't handle some things. They say some strange things, as in, I don't know what does banter mean. Yeah, man, it's not sledging, it's banter. And I'm like, oh, okay.
When they emerge from under the baggy green, they really become different kind of animals.
They like to change the terminology and call it banter rather than sledging. We are living in a more combative, aggressive, and probably abusive society than ever before. And we're probably seeing that on the ground.
It's a good way as far as Cricket Australia is concerned because they can demoralize the other side. So that needs to be stopped.
What? We tend to glare and stare a bit. In an Indian society, that's an insult. The way you look at someone, the way you glare at someone.
I don't mind being slaves, but they draw a line somewhere.
I hate using that line. What is the line? It's personal.
Did you get sledged?
Only Australians, yeah. Only Australians.
It's not personal, it's just the way we play, mate. I love it. It's improved my vocabulary.
Ravi Ashwin had a bit of a crack and said a couple of words I didn't think he knew to me, and I laughed at him. So I said, mate, it doesn't suit you.
On your bike, mate. On your bike, mate. I remember that word very clearly.
Virat Kohli, bold, brash, aggressive, confident, arrogant, whatever term you want to use, but
I think he's probably 10 times feistier than Sourav Ganguly. He's the best in the world. I know the Australians will probably not agree and say that Steve Smith, David Warner are the best.
New India. Nobody symbolizes New India like Virat Kohli does.
I loved it. I personally, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Amidst the heat of the two most combative teams in the world, the Australians are trying to shed their bad boy image and uphold their new self-imposed code of conduct.
There's no point coming from anywhere else. It's got to come from your peers, and we know what the line is. Got to make sure that we don't step over that.
Gautam Gambhir's lusty blow to bring up his century was a measure of his mindset.
Glorious Gambhir, and it's a 6.
Gambhir was keen to block out the Australians' banter while pleading accidental elbow on Watson.
Argy-bargy between the...
I think it wasn't deliberate. There was no chance he could have got me out, so there was no options for me. It wasn't a need for me to just stick my elbow out. It was just happened. I was getting chirped throughout the day from everyone. Not even a shoulder, it was just the elbow, whatever thing. Straight away got banned for the next test. I've always believed things happen on the cricket field, you should leave it till there. You should not take it off the field. Look at the monkey gate and all that stuff. There's been a lot of things that has happened in the past with Australians.
What about these border Gavaskar matches? India have assumed such importance in the world game and are such a good side. You guys would be pretty excited about this, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah. They're a very good cricket team, there's no doubt about that. And we've built up a great rivalry against India over the last, 10 years really, in both forms of the game.
When you come to Australia, you need a certain something, don't you? A mental strength, a glint in your eye to look Australia head on.
Oh, yes. I think we have the characters of the team.
A few fiery youngsters who are part of your unit these days, aren't they?
Oh, yes. It's good to have a balance. It's good to have the young guns firing as well. So it's great to have Yuvraj, MS Dhoni, Harbhajan Singh.
Great shot. Beautiful shot. There it is. His 29th Test 100.
He's gone again. This time straight.
Shot.
You beauty!
Close, very close. It's out. And out, straight to Michael Clark. Gone. Yes, he is. Ah, he's got him.
That's out. Vilius Laxman goes.
Yes, he has. That's a big one.
he's on a hat-trick. It's over. Clark's done the damage. Australia win. Well bowled, well played, Australia. That was a hiding.
Yeah, great performance, no doubt about that. India came here threatening all sorts of things. How they're going to challenge this Australian team? Well, they've been blown away.
Well, it was a feisty series to start with. It was feisty. There's no question about it.
I have never in my life felt more disillusioned about cricket than after the Sydney Test match of 2007-8. It was, I think, the lowest level to which relationships between two sides can ever sink.
Had a couple of the great protagonists in both teams. We had Harbhajan and them. We had Simo.
Two tough, embittered guys who had already clashed in Delhi well in advance of this series.
So we got out here and we'd just given them a touch-up in Melbourne, so we were pretty confident.
None of us are naive enough to think that it's all sweetness and light out in the middle.
It was getting feisty.
Just a little bit of a chat here between Harbhajan and Andrew Symonds.
Some footage of me walking down the wicket, my head spins around like a top. And my recollection, I heard something that sounded like it. That's what I thought I heard. We all know what happened.
Harbhajan, I think, made the mistake of using one word, and that's all we're talking about here, one wrong word.
Something might have happened. There's a reaction. Never forget, you also did it. So don't, just take off on the other person. So, I'm not a saint, right? When I play the game, I'm not a saint. I give it to you. So when you give back something to me, then I shouldn't be cribbing. Okay? You got to take it like a man. Look you in the eye, it's a good one that you got me. Gotcha!
A little gesture of, seemed to me, sorry about that, there we are. I don't think that Andrew Symonds took much notice of it.
I think you could say it was a short nod.
In that 07 series, in the one-day series, reference to monkey had been used before.
Andrew Symonds wasn't in the middle long, but it was still long enough for a torrent of abuse. As he walked out, a photographer captured evidence of the monkey gestures that Symonds has endured in the last few games. Symonds insists he's not bothered by the antics of some fans, but is annoyed that Indian cricket officials had originally doubted his claims.
When somebody comes out and just completely denies something's happened like that, that's disappointing.
His captain is more concerned about the behaviour.
That sort of stuff, as we all know and we all should understand, is just totally unacceptable at any place, any time.
Everyone had said to Harbhajan, say what you want, call us every other name, but just don't go down this path because it is offensive. Yeah, no worries. Okay, sorry, apologise. Come out here, then the next thing you know, the report happens.
Let me put myself in Harbhajan Singh's position, and if someone accuses me of being a racist, I'll be pretty upset about it, because India it's a proud country. India fought racism harder than any other country in the world and took its stand against racism. As an Indian, if I'm accused of being a racist without evidence, you bet what I'm thinking.
12 hours after receiving a tour-ending 3-test ban, Harbhajan Singh waded his way through the awaiting media.
The board will appeal to the ICC to review the decision of the match referee and suspend its operations till the appeal is disposed of. The Indian board realizes the game of cricket is paramount, but so too is the honour of the Indian team, and for that matter, every Indian.
How serious are the Indian board's threats if the ban is neither reduced or lifted?
Very serious.
What, they really could pull out of this tour?
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the judgment.
Back in India, the tension there hasn't eased all that much either.
The ban imposed on Harbhajan Singh is totally unacceptable.
Indian officials did accept they should resume their suspended tour of Australia, but there are strings attached. They've called on the ICC Appeals Commissioner to expeditiously dispose of the appeal lodged by Harbhajan Singh against his racial abuse charge and 3-match ban.
It further authorized the President to take all possible steps at his command and deploy all human and material resources available to get the player cleared of the obnoxious and baseless accusation.
Before we formally start seeing that there are going to be some media shots taken for a couple of minutes.
Myself as vice captain, Ricky as captain, were trying to completely back our player. Andrew Symonds just was not going to back down.
What has happened to the famous Australian way of saying what happens on the field stays on the field? Is it only that when the Australians give it to somebody, what stays on the field stays on the field? When they get it, has it got to be reported? It doesn't stay on the field?
I was the president of the board then when that incident happened. And in the courts, it was proved that there was nothing of that sort which was said by Harbhajan Singh. And that's why a minor punishment was inflicted on Harbhajan.
Justice Hansen said he was convinced that on all evidence submitted before him, the charge of a level 3.3 offence was not proven, but that Harbhajan Singh should be charged with a level 2.8 offence. Justice Hansen imposed a fine of 50% of his match fee.
Better late than never. The Indians are finally back on the bus and the tour's on again. The players were virtually holed up in their hotel for 2 days, awaiting word from the Indian Board of Control back home on whether or not to boycott the rest of the tour.
We had a chat with the referee and nothing came out, and all came out nicely. Nothing happened on that tour.
That's diplomatic.
Diplomatic.
I remember doing an interview with Andrew Symonds. I still believe it's one of the best interviews I could ever have done.
The whole Harbhajan thing, how do you look back at it now? Because time is such a wonderful thing that it allows you to look back with a completely different perspective. How do you look back at it?
Oh, mate, it was a very political time. It wasn't handled very well. I think Cricket Australia are intimidated by the Indian Cricket Board. The allegation was that this hadn't happened. And it had. It was just a really ugly incident that if the truth and honesty had have prevailed, and common sense, there would have been a punishment for a player, would have been dealt with, and it would have set a precedent for the future, but I don't think it's done that.
The Australian players thought that the Australian Cricket Administration blinked and that if they had stayed firm, then the narrative would have been different.
Andrew Symonds would feel certain that his board didn't back him.
I remember walking into the dressing room at tea time, and James walked in when there was a big brouhaha. It was a big moment in Australian Indian cricket.
And it was hung out to dry. On a personal level, it seemed to affect him. His cricket he thought, geez, no one's got my back anymore.
I was on the cricket board at the time as a director, and I was very disappointed with the stance we took. We backtracked, quite substantially, but there was a very strong reason for it. The threat of going home became a serious financial hole.
And the fact that India stood up and seemed to win the war of negotiation was, I think, a turning point in the balance of power between India and Australia.
Was it, one of those retreats where you lose the battle but win the war ultimately? I don't know.
There is no animosity or anything. We always had very good relations with Cricket Australia.
The rivalry must be on the field, but beyond the rivalry, it must bring countries together. And I thought 2007, it drove a little wedge for a while between India and Australia.
There's so much hard work to try and establish a good relationship between Australia and India. And it was difficult to have sympathy with those two because of their lack of respect for each other and their lack of respect for the Border Gavaskar Trophy. They couldn't set aside their enmities, which had started in Delhi. There is still residual resentment from Monkeygate, which in itself, the terminology, is just so unpleasant.
You tell me if I don't look good, please. I'm AJ, head coach at Carnegie Cricket Club here in Melbourne. 60% of the crowd here is probably Indian students, and one of the main reasons they're here is because of cricket.
There's been a significant influx of Indian students through universities and stuff like that. They come with a love of cricket.
There's around about 500,000 diaspora living in Australia at the moment. I think there's about over 200,000 in Victoria.
The new ones are coming in straight from India and they're thrown into the mix with more Australians. I think it takes time because the culture is completely different.
All I wanted to do when I landed was just to go to the MCG. Going live there was one of the best feelings I've ever had.
You have a lot of tour buses coming in, a lot of Indians. They're just excited watching the G. Oh my God, look at the G. Let's go nuts.
I think there's tension at times between, you might call white Australians and immigrants.
I think Australians in general, they hate Indians. They hate their guts.
I think cricket's one of those great things that's worked to bring that down, because I think once you meet people of different backgrounds, you start to see them as people and you actually see them as your friends and your mates, and oftentimes just as Australian as you are.
Dog ball? How is that a dog ball?
They don't like people standing up like how Indians do when people get sledged.
Do you sledge?
A little bit, yeah.
Are you good at it?
Yeah, I've got a few good ones.
I've always digged the way Aussies speak. Seriously, I'm not kidding you.
Hi, mate, how you going, man?
Hi, mate, how you going? Fucking mate.
This is my first year here, and I cannot believe how many Indians are down in Melbourne.
When I was coming to Australia, what I expected was to see a lot of Australians around, get accustomed to the culture, and it wasn't the case. There are a lot of Indians here.
I played in a team last year where I was the only non-Indian in the team, so I was a little bit outvoted on some things.
For someone like me who's coming from overseas here, and I've just been here for an year and a half now, I've been able to make quite a lot of mates only because of me playing cricket.
Best thing about Australia, the country?
Best thing about Australia? People, I reckon. And the attitude as a general, broad statement. Laugh at yourself. Hopefully be respectful and appreciate everything that you've got.
Do you know that Indian tourism to Australia is growing 25% year on year?
And that's the best way that our countries can engage, because come here and go home then and tell everyone about how awesome Australia is.
I remember going up the Sydney Harbour Bridge, looking down and saying, how badly did the English get it wrong? They should have come out here and left everybody behind.
Australia's changing constantly. We're adapting. The only way to change perception is through action or through behaviours. And through action by getting to India and having a look at India. Seeing it for yourself, and your perception of India will change immediately.
Hotels, the best in the world. No other country you'll get hotels like in India. Food, the best. And all cuisine.
It gives you moments that you can't get anywhere else. Moments of exhilaration, moments of joy, moments of sadness, moments of despair. I think it's a constant reminder that you're alive. And I don't know always in the first world whether we get those reminders. India reminds you every moment of the privilege of being alive, the joy of being alive, and just don't take it for granted.
India, for me, is the fondest memories I have from my cricketing career. Not disrespecting the Ashes or other countries, but because it's a life experience.
Extremely proud of where I come from. I never forget my roots. I do not forget getting on that train early morning at 5 o'clock, reaching the Maidans here, practicing, getting back to school, and just the interest people had for this game of cricket.
I think very few things where Indian can be proud about themselves, and cricket is one of them.
Well, I am very proud Indian. I am. My pride has also a fair amount of humility to it.
Extremely proud that I could play for India, led India, scored all those runs for India.
Proud of being an Indian and what India has been as a country, what India is to me.
I thank God that I was one of the 11 out of 1 billion that got an opportunity to play for India.
What was your reaction when Ryan told you he was retiring? How much will you miss him?
Yeah, everyone in that change room will miss him a lot. He's my #1 pick bowler in any team I've played with. He's as good as anyone to play for Australia.
Anyone in this position has probably sat here before and said it many times, but you want to do it for the rest of your life. That's just not possible.
There he is, Ryan Harris. Gets it through.
I've got a lot to learn as a coach now, and it's not something that because I've played Test cricket and played at international level, I'm a fully qualified coach. There's a lot to learn. For me, having a baggy green sitting in my wardrobe upstairs, it's my job in a way to go and get the young guys coming through to continue that legacy. I'm working at the National Cricket Centre with the National Performance Squad. My role now is high performance coach. Hopefully the guys that we've got here are the guys that are going to go on eventually and play for Australia and play over in India. And we've got a subcontinent wicket. We are trying to prepare guys to play in other conditions. All right, mate.
Any cricketer to go to Australia and do well in Australia, it's very similar for an Australian as well, isn't it? They call India the final frontier. So for an Indian as well to go to Australia, do well on those tracks, bat well on those tracks, be successful with the different ball, which we're not used to.
Balls are very, very different. This one here is a Kookaburra, it's an Australian one. That's the other challenge. We talk about the batters being on the wickets, different wickets. The bowlers are, it's just a bigger challenge.
They believe they can win anywhere in the world. The endeavor of this team is to be the best traveling team in the world. And I believe they're almost there. India, we know what we can do in India, and especially if we play in conditions that suit us, very few teams will have a sniff. But to go to South Africa, to go to England, to go to Australia, and try and win their test matches there, that is the endeavor of this cricket team, and they have it in them. India will not complain on what tracks they play, where they play. Every country is home. You adapt to the conditions. As simple as that. You don't moan when you go, oh, there's too much grass on that surface, or it's hard and it's bouncy. To hell with that.
When you land in Australia for this series,
Yeah.
it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
If you right now were thinking, okay, I've got one line to say or one sentence to say to the boys before I hop off the plane, what would you say?
Enjoy your cricket. Play hard, play tough, enjoy it, because great grounds, the sun on your back, get those buttons open, get out there and enjoy yourself. And express yourself more than anything else. Win, lose, what happens, happens. But get out there, that's one country you can go out there and do exactly that.
Go and enjoy yourself. You won't find a more competitive and more open cricket arena in the world than in Australia.
There's no team in world cricket that travels well. Australia come to India, they get beat. South Africa come to India, they get hammered. England come, they get hammered. Australia, we've never won a series in Australia.
But if they're ever going to have a chance...
Let me be very clear. India plays to win. At all costs.
The desperation to win between the two nations is overbearing. They just can't fathom not.
Right now, India is dominating.
Don't discount us, because when you're wearing that baggy green, you fight.
Are you confident?
Yeah. Quietly confident. You still have to play.
Thank you, Ravi.
Pleasure.
I actually believe that cricket is a bridge between our countries. What did Indians know about Australia 20 years ago? You knew the cricketers? You had the kangaroo?
Culturally, Australia and India may be extremes. Some may say there's not a lot of similarities there, but then that obsession links them and binds them together.
I think Australia, for me, is not down under. It's very hard.
I used to find they are very naive people. They don't know much about the world because they are so far away on the one corner of the world. But sports bring the people together.
I particularly commend Alan Border, Mark Taylor and Steve Waugh, who broke down a lot of the barriers. The Australian people now appreciate the great guile of the Indian players.
Sachin Tendulkar, the champion Indian cricketer, was today presented with an Order of Australia. Tendulkar was recognised for service to Australia-India relations by promoting goodwill through cricket.
It really means a lot to me, and who knows, I might be again to Australia again to play cricket, or maybe just as a tourist because I love that sport.
Cricket, if you like, is in many ways purpose. It's a destination for people to come and join, connect.
If cricket doesn't help bring nations together, nothing else will. It's a way of life. You don't play this game, you live it. And that is something which I acquired from the great Sir Donald Bradman himself. I had goose pimples then, I still have them, but 67, I remember, Sir Robert Menzies. He said, this world would have been a much happier place to live in had America and Russia played cricket. Makes a lot of sense. Again, playing cricket. That's very vital.